Hi, my name's Natalie Bowie. I'm a second year political science student and I joined the Alumni Ambassador Initiative this spring quarter, and I'll be giving tips on how to conduct the interview. Okay, so attire. Attire usually kind of is important because you're basically representing UCSD, so you don't have to like dress to impress, but it is really important how you show up and make that first impression. So business casual is always the safest, but you really can like judge accordingly. Do you research on your alumnus? Like, some of them are recent graduates, so some are very, very casual. Like, some have come in just jeans and flip-flops, because I mean they're not that much older than us. So then you don't want to overdress and make it really nerve-wracking for them too. So then look up the year that they graduated. Some are hardcore professionals. I've interviewed people who worked for the mayor's campaign, so of course I wasn't going to come in like flip-flops. Like, I dressed professionally, and some of them are a lot much older, so maybe you might have to dress a little more conservatively, and some of them have really like peculiar professions, so like judge on that too. I interviewed someone who wields jewelry as a living, and so it was like, and he was like a 40-year-old man too, and so that was really interesting. So I mean, you just dress casually and like really judge accordingly, and obviously take into consideration where you're going to meet them. If it's over coffee or if it's over lunch, like, it's totally fine, just dress like casual but nice. But if it's in like in an office setting or their office, like in a building downtown, then make sure to dress professionally too. What to bring? There's not much to bring. Always make sure to bring your alumni packet, and this packet contains like all the information on donations, event attending, volunteering, a lot of other opportunities for them, and like the magazine. And I always find the alumni packet a really good way to transition, a really good prop to transition into talking about like getting them and reconnecting them back to UCSD. Show them the magazine, and then you'll trigger what their interests are, and you can go from there. Business cards. Work really hard to earn them. You need 15 of them to get them, and I always find that if you give yourself as a resource to them and offer like, oh, you know, if you ever need anything in the future, if you ever want to reconnect back to UCSD in the future, here, please feel free to contact me through the business card. And then they always end up offering to be used as a resource too. Like, you can always like email them. They always end up offering, so it's really nice to like build relations through that. Okay, questions to ask. First, always introduce yourself. State what your purpose is, your mission, and what you're doing, what the Alumni Initiative is, and how important it is to like build that like personal connection with the with alumni to help build it for the foundation for the school. So some first questions that I find really easy to ask right off the bat, just to get the ball rolling and get conversation going. Ask like, how long has it been since you visited campus? The way they answer that question, you can see whether they have a really strong like affection towards the school, or like they don't have much of a interest in the campus like at all. So you can really work from there. Ask them, what have you been doing since you've graduated? Of course, that's like an easy one, and they can always just go into whatever they've been doing since then, so you can work off of that too. Also, did you find your coursework to be relevant to what you do now? Did you find it impactful? This one's always really interesting because you'll most likely get like always an honest answer about how they appreciated their coursework. Some of them found it very, very compelling, very interesting, very like life-changing. And then it'll be interesting because they can give you suggestions on which courses to take, or like what professors that you should take. So this one was always really helpful. And I always like asking, did you always start out as a so-and-so major, and like what interested you to do it? Because sometimes you'll see that like they don't always start out, and they don't always come in as the major they always thought they would be. and it's interesting to see like how they change like midway, and like it's never really a linear path for a lot of these students. Other questions to ask, always get the basics down. So what were you involved in during your time here? You can see like the organizations that they were doing, and maybe you're doing them too. It's really cool to like be able to connect on the same organizations that you were like both involved in. And what did you like most about your undergraduate experience? So that's also another good conversation topic, because maybe you guys can find some similarities. And what events would they like to see more of in the future? And this one's always fun because I always like to name drop the really big events that have happened on campus. Like most recently, I've used the Conan O'Brien one, visiting Six College, and the Dalai Lama, and that always like wows the alumni, and so then they obviously would want to attend those events, and we have a lot of opportunity for alumni to like get a hold of tickets to attend those events. So those are really interesting. Also, I find it really important to talk about yourself too. A lot of these alumni like to talk about themselves, but then they are interested in how you're doing and what you're involved in and what your ambitions are. And so they always have a story to share, but you do too. So remember that. How to transition. At first, when I first started doing my interviews, transitioning into reconnecting back to UCSD is always kind of awkward. So I always ask first off, are you an alumni associate member yet? And then talk about like the benefits of being an alumni associate member, and talk about how there's the first step, it's like always free and you get a lot of benefits from it. When transitioning into volunteering interests, see their affinity for volunteering in their undergraduate experience. And if they have some experience, it makes it easier to transition. So for example, you could always ask, I see that you're really involved in volunteering during your undergraduate years. Would you still be interested in possibly participating in whatever they were doing? Some of them did alternative breaks. Some of them did the volunteer club. So judge on what they've been involved in before to see if volunteering is even suitable for them. Because a lot of like the basics, like event attending, volunteering, or donating, like not all of them is suitable for all alumni, so always pick and choose which one to target them with. When asking about event attending, like I said, like I like to name drop really cool events that has happened, or just simply ask like, what kind of events would you be interested in attending? And then people are always interested in networking, so bring this question up when you find the right opportunity to do so. So the ways I transition them is that when you can tell that they are looking to build like relations, like maybe in like law school, always suggested them how there's like regional like clubs all over California that they could be participating in and attending events there, and it's like a really good way to like meet new people. I have actual alumni who have reported that. Or you can always ask them like, where do you see yourself in the future, and then provide them the right tools that can help them get there. And everyone knows how important networking is, so then they would usually take up on it. Asking about donations, it's always awkward, but the worst that they can say is no. So I just always straight up ask, like towards the end, would you ever be interested in donating, like if not now, like in the near future? And always explain that like any donation, whether it be like a huge like $100 or thousands of dollars to even just $10, it really helps build like the alumni foundation. And you'll always find that some of them are really skeptical to donate, but then they understand that why you do have to ask this question. It is really important. So then it may feel awkward, and it is kind of an awkward question to ask, but they know that it's important to ask. So remember to always ask. And also, like, last but not least, like, always have fun with this. Like, I use this very much to my advantage. Like, I try to use it to, like, explore career options. I always ask for alumni, like, through different majors to see what these what the UCSD majors, like, tend to do afterwards. And always ask questions that even you're personally interested in. And it doesn't always have to be strictly, like, UCSD related. And so don't always make it so formal either. Like, ask them questions that are more like personal, if they don't mind like sharing, because maybe they do like to talk about their family, maybe they do like to talk about their friends, or like their past, their high school history, and just build upon that, because there's a lot of stories that are just not within UCSD, like in their undergraduate experience too. And also that like you're networking too, and you're building connections, and maybe even like possible future relationships. So like talk to them and converse with them. Like, you don't always have to just ask formal questions and just do an interview. So always have fun with it. It's really useful.